Target block, 3 nuts.
Probably needs new batteries.
Okay, police report, chief director.
Let's start with the pier permits. The first one is at 109463 East Shore. Chairman Klarkowski and I were out there and comparing notes, and I believe ultimately the last proposal that I saw was approved and met our ordinances for that one.
I agree, so I'll make a motion that we approve the peer registration form for Patrick Klein at North 9463 East Shore Road.
I'll second.
We have a second, discussion, questions? I thank Patrick for helping us out there because it is a little bit of a confusing, it's a vague, and the neighbor that's not quite sympathetic, and we got it worked out that everybody's happy and we don't have lawsuits flying around, so. On the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carried.
And the next permit is at W 1905, It's a Little Road. Had some discussions with, Mr. Becker, who is representing the Lake Beulah Management District, and the plan that was submitted to me met the criteria. Mr. Becker and the DNR and the owners have gone around and around and come up with a plan that seems to fit our ordinance and satisfy riparian zone so the DNR is not encroaching on the neighbors. Riparian zone, that was their suggestion, is to just start digging and moving some stuff. So I believe the plan that was given to you, I approved it, and I don't know what Joe's opinion is, but it looks like everybody gets a win in this one.
Yeah, the deal here, this is in lieu of dredging, and as you know, dredging in a lake is about as bad as you can get for the health of the lake. And, in order to actually eliminate, the contested case hearing, for this dredging permit, it was actually, that would have been a third hearing and a potential lawsuit. So in effect, the DNR piped in and said, here's what would be acceptable. And if you look at that pier, it's 190 feet, but in that same bay, if you're familiar with the lake, that's the black and white photograph, 2 pages back. You'll notice that there's 2 other ones that have the same situation, where to get to some water depth, we look to be about 200 feet. Even longer than this one here. So, this keeps, I believe, a lawsuit from taking place. And, we both gave a recommendation in there, but we need to have the board to act on it to make it official. So I make a motion that, town board approve the peer permit, the peer registration form for Heidi Nancy at West 1905, It's a Little Road. That's my motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, second, discussion.
I have a question.
Christian?
Does the agreed upon, compromise require a variance
Um,
from our ordinance?
I believe, no.
No.
Why I say no is, they needed that right to get to that depth of water. I'm not even sure if they got 3 feet, but they got 2. You know, so that's why it is, but, the DNR being involved in this case also actually helps us because, we would need buy-in from them, they would probably defer back to us, but they've been involved in this dredging plan 2 years? 2 years. And, there's been problems in
Wasn't there a pier there before, or partial?
No,
No, what the previous owner was trying to do was use the blue barrels, and he was going to attach them to one another to extend his pier out and put a platform like a makeshift floating platform pier, and that was squashed pretty quickly by the DNR and the neighbors and.
That was 600 feet?
400.
600 feet, yeah.
600 feet, this is a third of that. So, I believe it's, it's all,
This has been going on for over 5 years. Back and forth,
And it's approved by the DNR.
we're finally there.
yes.
Right.
All right, did we vote on this?
Nope.
No, okay, I have a motion to approve this peer station form, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carried. And I agree. It's a win-win.
Yes. All right, police report, the totals, the end of April, we had 3,895 calls for service. A total of 77 citations through the month of April. And we're still averaging, and again, when I say calls for service, I'm including business checks, house checks, extra patrols, traffic tickets, everything we do. So when you pull up that sheet and you see we have 4 pages, everything in there counts. Animal bites, you can see the whole list of different calls for service that we have. So it's not 3,000 burglaries or thefts or high-speed pursuits type of thing. And again, I break that down just to show you guys, you ladies and gentlemen on the board, that the officers are doing what we've asked them to do. They're being productive, they're doing something on average every hour, and I think that just it shows credit to them that they're not just waddling around the township with their eyes closed. So, any questions about that part of the report? Jeremy is not here, he's receiving an award tonight. Back on July 23rd of 2023, Officer Kroll was dispatched to Alpine Valley Resort at the request of the Walworth County Sheriff's Office for a medical emergency. Upon Officer Kroll arriving, he made a quick evaluation and immediately started CPR. I was not present for the call, but the report given to me and letter given to me by Chief DeGarlo had Officer Kroll not acted in the immediate fashion, that probably would have ended up being, in Chief's opinion, a fatality. But because of his quick action and life-saving efforts, that gentleman survived that event. So that's why we're gonna be giving Jeremy, who's working third shift tonight, so I don't blame him for not necessarily being here, a life-saving award. However, Officer Pavlich is here, and I'm just going to, I was given a letter from a fellow officer, and the letter spelled out why Officer Pavlich should get an award tonight. And I'm just gonna quote from that letter, and this kind of sums everything up about Mike. His dedication to the welfare of his colleagues and the communities he serves have been outstanding. Mike does investigations for us. He's been a mentor with some of the younger officers in the village and in the town, and he also has worked as an FTO for us. So I'd really like to congratulate Mike on receiving the Meritorious Service Award today. Gave out a couple of other awards today that I believe were important to our 3 DPW guys. And Todd, Jeff, and Dave did some outstanding work and some serious heavy lifting to save the taxpayers in this township money. And if you walk through the building with us, I can point everything out that we were able to save costs because of their personal skill set and determination. From building, countertops at work areas, like you have in front of you, putting in, vent hoods, proper vent hoods, so we can do proper and safe drug testing, to doing some of the heavy lifting to get these filing cabinets from this building to that building. Those guys need to be recognized, and that's why they received awards today, this afternoon, and I just wanna point that out here publicly tonight, that those guys did a fantastic job for us. I would be remiss in also, not including some kudos to our secretary, Jean Lowe. She jumps through a lot of hoops, and she did a lot of the ordering, and getting things here in a timely manner, and again, saving money when it's the right thing to do, and she helped me through some of that process, so I'd like to thank Jean for all her efforts. Does anybody have anything?
Questions?
Chief, while you're there, you wanna take a minute to speak about the noise ordinance change that's coming further down on the agenda? All we ended up doing for purposes of this ordinance change is changing the word public street to public place without adding any hours, or creating a long list of exemptions from the ordinance.
Yeah, and we discussed last month that, and I gave a brief example. The public place then includes our waterways instead of public street. And after discussion with Mr. Mills, the ordinance that we have is enforceable. And as I alluded to, the neighbor that calls because a chainsaw is running at 3 in the afternoon, according to our ordinance, could technically be a violation. But common sense says that's not a violation, and we're not gonna do it. Now, in contrast to that, I like to hear my chainsaw run every Saturday afternoon for about 3 hours, and I'm not cutting a single thing, I'm just revving the motor to rev the motor because I like to smell a chainsaw exhaust, and I love hearing the high-pitched whine. Different situation, and our ordinance allows for the officers to speak with the person and say, hey, you know, if you're gonna cut, if you're not. But running your chainsaw in your garage for an hour, walking around the yard with it doing nothing, is a violation of our noise ordinance, and we would be able to issue a citation on that.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Are we allowed to? Okay. Don't we already have rules on the lake, like our waterways for like noise and stuff like that? I guess what? I don't know, I thought we did.
No,
The
our-
signs at the boat launch and stuff.
The
like that,
sign-
flag things.
The sign at the boat launch, if you look and read the old sign, they talked about writing a disorderly conduct ticket. I didn't think in the discussions with Mr. Mills and the officers that a disorderly conduct citation really necessarily, I mean, if you have loud music, and it's so egregious that we're jumping on the boat to track you down, I'm not sure if that's necessarily disorderly conduct. And there's a discrepancy fine for that also, because we do adopt the state statutes for disorderly conduct, and that's what that would fall under, not our own ordinance.
Okay.
So this kind of gives us a two-pronged approach, if you wanna look at it that way. There's always the fallback, the catch-all of disorderly conduct. But I would much rather issue an ordinance, noise citation, before I go with, NPC, disorderly conduct citation.
That is appropriate.
tickets have been written in the past, ever since you've been here related to noise ordinance?
I can confidently say less than 5. My gut tells me 0, but I wanna say less than 5 because I could have missed 1 or 2. So,
So basically, this is just to open up the water, put the waterways into the town ordinance.
yeah, that's correct.
Does it make it easier to then adjudicate in court?
I would still need to have the officer that issued the citation be able to explain with sufficient detail to convince the judge, by clear and satisfactory, evidence or testimony that a violation did in fact occur. Is it somewhat subjective? Yes, but I don't know how you're gonna get around that. Every testimony, opinion testimony anyway, is going to be subjective.
And I think that was kind of like the initial concern, right? Like the current ordinance was vague, and difficult to enforce, but you're confident. and-
Don't you think it would be better to put a timestamp on this? I truthfully, I think with us, this kind of opens a can, and I support law enforcement, but putting a timestamp on this would be best for everyone, in my opinion. It would give clarity to this and make your job a lot easier. I mean, if I have a 2-year-old, almost 2, who screams and yells and cries and whatever, if I piss off my neighbor, he could call me in and I could technically get a ticket with this, right?
No, it needs to be reasonable, and I have to, and we have to, kind of put ourselves in the position of the prosecutor and the judge, and what's reasonable? What would a reasonable person do? And I did initially push for a time, because I thought it would make it a little more clear cut, but not having the time in there, still makes it clear cut for me after all the discussion, because you know, again, unfortunately, I went through little kids, and you just get them down for the nap at 2 in the afternoon, and the neighbor cranks up the chainsaw, and it's summer and the windows are open, you're gonna be a little aggravated that he's or she's doing their yard work. Should they really get a ticket for doing their yard work in the middle of the day?
No.
No. So leaving the times out also leaves it to reasonableness. And I think the ultimate arbitrator of that is our municipal judge who was elected. And if we start writing citations that are unreasonable to him, he's gonna start dismissing them, and you're gonna start getting calls from your constituents. So,
There's actually 3 lines of defense. Your department has to believe it's reasonable. Then the reports come to me if they end up in municipal court. I on my own can make a motion to dismiss. And then you have the judge, who you're right, is the ultimate, decision maker on these issues. So, if your scenario came to me, which I know it never would, because it's just so unreasonable, I myself would be making a motion to dismiss that citation.
Okay, any last questions, Chief? Thank you very much.
thank you.
All right, East Reading Area Emergency Services District Report.
It's an abbreviated report because the April meeting fell just after your last meeting. The facts are in the report. There'll be more in the next one.
Okay, thank you. Park Committee report.
Really nothing to report, just that we got the confirmation back from Jeff that the order is in. We're probably looking after July 4th for
Yep, after July 7th, actually,
that
the
weekend.
train, actually, the guys
Right.
from the train stopped And they got a big thing on that Sunday, I think it is, yeah.
So, and Todd is working directly with Jeff on the timing on that. And another example of Todd and his team on how they're always working to save the town money, as far as their, you know, removing the wood chips, they're taking care of the preparation work. We did get an email from, who else? The Orchard
Yeah.
Hill Church here, up the road, that they would be interested in our huge equipment. I will leave that at Todd's discretion on if it's safe. I think there'd be posts and things like that they would have to buy new, right?
Probably, yes. It depends upon how easily it comes apart.
There need to be a written agreement.
Yeah.
And,
Solving
yes,
the town
and
liability.
disclaimers,
Yeah.
exactly.
Do we need to authorize you to write a whole harmless agreement, because that's what I think needs to go with any use agreement?
It would, and the town can't gift either, so you're gonna have to discuss some sort of price.
Yeah, so I think it'll depend on.
Yeah, that we can wait till that comes out to see what kind of shape it's in, what it all comes out of it. If it's in somewhat decent, then we can figure out what we're gonna do with it.
Then I almost wonder if we have to.
Is it worth even,
Like,
use equipment for sale?
No.
Let them come to us, that's another layer of insulation, that's a question.
Well, is it cheaper to pull it out nicely or just go after it?
It's been there 22 years, so.
I mean, that's another thing, you know, how much time do you spend trying to keep it together,
Yeah.
or is it just?
Yeah.
So, to
I'm
be
leaving at
determined,
his discretion.
to be determined, and if it comes to that, then yes, we have to make sure that some type of hold harness, so the town is protected.
Right.
You know, not hold harness, whatever. Okay, anything else?
Not for her.
All right, Lake Memorial Park report, we have two resolutions. We're gonna look at these. These are resolutions from the Booth Lake Park Board. And, as Chad mentioned at the last meeting, we were hoping to get it in our, April meeting, but we didn't get it in time, so we're doing it now. These are resolutions that were created by the Booth Lake Park Board. And, with the new leadership there, the new people on the board, we're making an effort here to make sure that all the i's were dotted and t's were crossed, some of the things were done without proper procedure, let's say. This fixes that, and, what they're asking us to do as a town board is to approve their resolution, 2024-1, 2024-2. And I can't remember where we've ever done this before, Jim, where we're, acting as a board to approve somebody else's resolution. We probably have, I don't recall. Is there any issue with that?
Well, you're almost obligating yourself to these amounts if you haven't already somewhere else. I mean, we've often, at the town level, done resolutions ratifying prior actions. So that in and of itself is not unusual. I didn't have really an issue with resolution 1. I had some questions on resolution 2.
Well, on resolution one, these are past due dates. So this is past actions. So we're just documenting, they're not actually asking for another.
No, this is all, no, there's no really monetary deal here, but it's all handled with, other, budgeting items. This is because the way they did it, maybe Jeff can fill in a little bit more, but they wanna make sure that what they now have done to fix that past problem, that we're in agreement with it, the relatively Troy is in agreement, and of course, the town of Troy is in agreement with it. Chad, would that be a proper way to say that?
Yeah, it's pretty much it. They're just trying to go with the bylaws of the park, kind of been read a little more in depth, and, This stuff has already been, action has been taken, this is trying to make resolutions, each municipality moving forward is going to, when something of this nature comes up, a resolution will be made, and it'll come to you first. So it's just things have been, you know, I don't wanna say wrong, just not all right, so to speak, but, so they're just trying to make the, especially these ticket items here, that were from last year. They're just trying to get everything going in the right direction for the board. But this stuff is, I mean, the generator's already in. You know, I mean, this money has been, just trying to make this resolution so that, and get on track with the municipalities and operations.
Yeah, this could have been done, last month. I believe the village of East Troy and the town of Troy both acted last month.
The month before even might have, yeah.
2 months.
Yeah, that's right, I can wait.
Alright, so I guess that's what we're doing, we're saying that, we're gonna have a motion here for the town board to approve, or concur with the 2 resolutions of the Blue Lake Park Board, being 2024-1 and 2024-2.
Don't make a motion combining the two, cause I have a question on the second.
Okay, alright, so then we need a motion then for the first one, so make a motion to approve.
I make a motion, we approve resolution number 2024-1.
I second that motion.
Second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, number 2, what are your questions?
On the third whereas paragraph, that's the reference to Adams Electric that Mr. Jones referred to.
And that's who the park board bought their generator from.
Yep, that's who did it.
The other, we're talking about it again, here.
Oh,
This is for the park.
okay. And then, under the first whereas, section, it talks about the total remodel of the park's house. So this additional 15,000 was not part of the 100,000 in the first resolution to bring it up to speed, so if you will. Okay. Alright, that was my question.
Okay, alright.
And then this was the one that we debated about whether it was already in their budget or not.
Yes.
So this is, we've confirmed it is in their budget, it's not in.
It is in their budget, but they did not, they requested only a portion of the funds that were set aside. So this is part of that, it's not exceeding what we budgeted for them, so it's part of what we budgeted for them.
Yes.
Okay, need a motion on number 2.
I'll make a motion that the town board of East Troy approve resolution number 2024-2 from the Blue Lake Park Board, resolution authorizing the request of $5,000 from each municipality, the village of East Troy, and the towns of East Troy and Troy for the installation of a generator at the caretaker's home and concession stand.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Discussion?
Yeah, I heard, some discussion from, the village and the town of Troy that the concession stand area had a lot of, food, probably ice cream and hot dogs, and that when the power goes out, all that stuff becomes spoiled and it's money wasted. So that's why the generator was such a big need.
Yep. Okay, discussion, hearing none, on the motion to approve resolution from the Blue Lake Park Board 2024-2, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, that's all we had on the Blue Lake report, but, did you end up going, Chad, to the meeting after you were off the board? Did you go?
Yeah, yep.
Cause, Michelle's going to the next meeting that's coming up when,
Yeah,
oh, right away before we.
Yep.
Okay. Was there anything that you'd like to report on that last meeting?
No, they had a lot to discuss, but I left early because I didn't need to stay the whole time. Honestly, I just wanted to give them some information that I found out with, the events coming up and some donations and stuff like that, was really why I went up there, so.
Alright, very good. Alrighty, Lake Beulah Man Commission report, Mr. Thomas.
Management district met April 9th, 2024, and is scheduled to begin tomorrow, May 14th at 5:30, here at Town Hall. I sent my report in the packet. If you have any questions, I'm glad to answer them. Typically, the management district operates under a budget that obtains revenue from the riparian owners on the lake. We operate operational reserve as well as an equipment reserve. We're currently installing the spring items. Buoys are going in slowly, and product plant harvesting is not yet done. Due to the recent heavy rains at the Highway J Dam, the water level exceeded the U.S. Geological Survey mark of 808.5. This is getting close to time that we want to start moving boards from the dam to release water into the Fox River watershed. Each board that we pull is approximately 5 inches in height. It goes across half the weir. It's typically a one-man job, but he does it manually. There's a catwalk built at the dam there, just to clarify any future questions. These are photographs taken from our website, and just briefly explain some keywords I thought. So that photograph shows one of the staff at one of the sections of the boards they pulls. You can see the geological survey marker is over on the right-hand side of the photo. It's mounted to the concrete just like the scroll had. We also discussed at the April meeting that fishing totals continue to decline on the lake, and at this time we're just talking about possible reasons why that is happening. The 4 items came up at the April meeting that it could be wakeboard, draft, disturbing fish habitat, or harvesting too much aquatic plants, and we might have to adjust the cutter that is attached to one of the harvesters. And also there might be environmental changes to the lake that are noted by the Beulah management staff. I think last year they noted a couple patches of blue algae in the lake, which is not a good sign. We monitored the bottom of the lake for water quality, and we still have not received that report, so that is forthcoming. So any questions?
Have stocking levels remained the same?
The Lake Beulah Protection and Improvement Association usually stocks the lake, strength.
Do you know
The
their levels have been consistent recently?
Management district is not responsible for that, so.
No, I'm just asking as another potential cause. I mean,
Well, they
Wakeboarding.
released, the last time they Stock Lake, I think, at least 5,000, fingerlings. And I'm not sure of the species.
Bob?
I know the DNR on Potter's Lake, we're slated to stock fish. They're low on funds, so the DNR has not been stocking fish in Potter Lake. So the district has been paying for the fish stocking, because the DNR doesn't have funds to do it. So I don't know if you guys are set up similar, but
We make a donation to the, Lake Real Procurement Association.
They only stock northern too. We haven't received the stocking since 2019 in Potterville. And they only stock northern.
Wasn't some of it caused, a problem with the ice? I thought it was, there was a problem with the amount of ice.
No.
Not this year.
Alright, we're getting to this same part of the meeting, it's every damn meeting, where everybody just starts shooting off. You asked, you recognize, that you're not taking any public comments unless really the board wants to open it up after, but public comment period is over. You know that? Alright, thank you. Recycle committee.
Yes, have a couple of things. The May e-cycling event went, quite well, very satisfactory. Number two, the 2023 recycling program accomplishments and actual costs annual report was completed and submitted 16 April 2024 with a due date of 30 April 2024. And the award, the grant award for this year was $14,835.89. And of further note, the 20-year figure for the recycling grants comes to $280,000. And special thanks to our clerk treasurer, Kim Buchanan, for her diligence in tracking and submitting these, reports. That's it.
Anything from the library?
Yes, we do have a couple of things here. Number one, the Nancy O'Connell Gathering and Dedication is scheduled for 11 a.m. Saturday, June 8th, 2024. And, special thanks to those who donated to make the memorial possible. All Town of East Troy board members are certainly invited to this event. Number two, Prairie View fourth grade students submitted designs for the summer reading program. The board chose 3 designs that will be printed as bookmarks and distributed this summer. Number 3, a new children's event has been added to the schedule, and on July 1st, the library will host a children's parade. And that's all I got there.
Okay. And yeah,